Now, I don't even have to require anything of this. That is what the magic of jest is. If I even comment this one out, so now I will start unit testing now. So what I'll do is I'll just init my package by having npm init y so that I don't have to fill anything, and automatically I will get this package.json filled automatically. Okay, so I don't have to type the name, version, etc., etc., etc. All right, so now let me install jest. All right. By the way, let me show the documentation for jest itself. Just.justjs.io. As you can see, it says Jest is a delightful JavaScript testing framework with a focus of simplicity. It focuses on projects using Babel, TypeScript, Node, React, Angular, Vue, and more. If you go inside docs, you can see that how to start it. Now, obviously, the documentation also has the same sum method because that is a very easy way to explain testing. Now, as you can see, I have literally written the same statement as how it depicts. It has a file called sum, and then I'm exporting that particular function. And once I get that function, I am having some statement here followed by a callback function. All right. Inside that callback function, you have the answer, the original answer, and then you are asserting it to your particular value to be. All right, this is a method which accepts the value of to be, and then if this passes, then it will say passed. If it fails, it will say fails. And as you can see, it will say if it passes, then it passes that file and it has this particular statement. Okay, so how do we run from our command line? Well, once you particularly installed jest, you have to just make sure that you write the keyword just, and that is literally it. You don't have to type all these things. You just have to like type the word just and you're good to go. All right, we'll talk about matches real quick because that is what Athanu's questions was. Matches are nothing but the statement which is happening here, the assertion statements. Common matches is a way to equalize, to check whether the values are equal, but it is not just that. You have many things. You can equal using to equal, because if you want to compare between two arrays or two objects, to be won't work. To be is a primitive checking method, whereas to equal is referential checking method, because as I have told you before, objects are referentially typed. So we need to use this method. We'll talk about that, don't worry. And then you can also put not here, which is literally like a complement. If you read it in English, you'll literally understand it. They're expecting some value not to be 0. Did you understand it? You're expecting something which should not be 0. All right. Again, you have some other matches as well. If you want to expect some value to be null, you will be asking to be null. If you want something to be undefined, you have to check it as to be undefined. If you want to check it as defined, you'll check it as to be defined. If you want to check it as to be truthy, that is, if the returned value is true, it will check for true. The same applies for false. Hope that this makes you understand in a better way. What do you mean by asserting? Asserting means evaluating or pre-checking, predicting. Okay, just can be used to test the full stack. Yes, it's all JavaScript, right? At the end. Okay, so I have added just here. So I have to make sure that they have told me, right? In the first step, I have to add it inside my package.json as a script. If you want to add it as a script, then you can add it as a script as well. I don't want to do that now. Let me just type just here real quick. And then as you can see, it runs my app.spec.js file, and woohoo, it has failed in one of my tests. As you can see, we have a console error of test has failed, expected value is 7, but I received 4, but it is working. What it says, this suit must contain at least one test. I have the tests. Oh yeah, that's because I am having my own functions. So this is no more needed. I can delete that because that is just my way of implementing it. But again, you can literally rely on just hereafter. You don't have to type anything of this. This is done only to show you that just works in the same way. All right. So let me run once again and see if that passes or fails. And yeah, it worked. So watch very carefully what is happening here, guys. I have two tests here. One, it should add the numbers correctly, and another one, it should subtract the numbers correctly. And as you can see, the second test has been passed, which shows a green tick mark, but the first test has been failed. Let's see why it has failed. It should add the numbers correctly has failed, which had two values. It even shows the color code so that you can understand even better. The received value is what the original result is. The expected value is what you are expecting. And as you can see, the expected value was 7, but I have received 4. It also tells you where exactly the test has went wrong, which is none other than this particular line on line number 6. As you can see, this is where the test has went wrong. So why did it happen? We need to go to the code where this particular function is evaluating. Well, that is because I still have the -3 here. If I delete it and evaluate the test once again, you can see all my tests has passed. It also says how much time it took, and this is what just is by default. Yeah, exactly. So whatever I have showed earlier was a way of my own implementation. You don't have to worry if you didn't understand that. Not at all uh, worryable. Yeah, you don't have to worry at all. So did you understand, people? But the reason why I showed you is the way of writing didn't change. Did I change anything here? Did I change anything inside this particular app.spec.js? So to make you understand is the reason why I wrote this. This is completely unnecessary now. This is exactly how Jest expects us to work. You can even group these tests inside a group, guys. Like let's say if I want to group these tests inside a test group called arithmetic tests, you can even do that. You can say a method with the help of describe and then call it as whatever statement you like. Let me keep it as arithmetic tests. And then you can have a callback function here. And this is where you can put your tests. Now, if you save it and run once again the just command, you could see that you have a name called arithmetic tests as the group name, and all of your tests has been indented a bit. Could you see that? So it is a better way of grouping your tests. Like if you have multiple functionalities that needed to be tested, you can literally group them with the help of describe. Okay. So this is exactly what unit testing exactly means. Now the sky is the limit, guys. You can perform any of your operations and start making sure that they are working. Now, enough of all these things. Let's start to build an application out of it. Okay. Now, again, the application is not something I am concentrating. The testing is what I am concentrating. So what I'll do is I'll just create a small to-do list application which builds whatever I have said during the beginning of the class. So let me create some files. It's index.html. But before that, I will also do the parcel bundling thing because HTML files do not support node modules. That is the common JS modules. Whatever we have used here is something the browser won't understand. Let me show you real quick. If I have my index.html boilerplate and then have my script of app.js, and let me see if that app.js is importing something. No, it didn't import anything. Let me just use app.spec.js for my instance. I'm just proving you that this won't work. That's why. So let me come here and run my live server real quick. And let me have my console log. And as you can see, immediately the syntax of require is not defined. That error is being thrown because browser does not understand common JS modules. So you need to have some sort of bundler to convert this common JS syntax into original JavaScript syntax. And one good thing is either use Webpack, bang your head, be like a maniac, or use an alternative easy way, which is Parcel. That is what we are going to do now. Let me install the Parcel packages real quick. So npm install Parcel as well as Parcel bundler. Right. The main reason why I'm installing is because to convert whatever I have used in node format to browser format. That is the reason. Okay.